Girls, what was the most obvious hint you dropped, and the guy just didn't get it? My buddy in college was stressing over when to make the move to kiss a girl he liked. While we encouraged him to not wait for the perfect moment and just go for it, he admitted he should have tried to kiss her when they were in the shower. Stressing, not staying. It's snowing. Just stay here. Can sleep in my bed. We were discussing costumes, and I sent a picture of me in my bunny suit and said I'd need help out of it. His response was telling me he hoped my roommate was home, or that would suck. I had to tell him I was implying I'd like him to take it off me, and it took him a minute to catch up. Friend was complaining he was hot because of his long sleeve shirt. I said, oh, I'm sure you'd be just as hot without the shirt. He was so unaware that I finally just kissed him. I once was modeling clothes I planned to take on vacation for my boyfriend. After showing off a couple of outfits, I told him to close his eyes and changed into lingerie. He opened his eyes and I asked him what he thought. His jaw dropped and he said, "You can't wear that outside." I put my clothes back on. I went out of my way to come in early and talk to this guy every day for like a month before someone else told him I was into him. I also repeatedly told him I liked him. He thought I was just being nice. I had a girl invite me round her house once just to show me her posters. They were all of Harley Davidson motorbikes, and she said she's never ridden a Harley before. Awkward silence, and after a few other bits of small talk I decided to be on my way. 2 years later I'm sitting on the bus and realize what she meant. Holly. Ridden the Holly. My name is Holly. A guy I'm currently seeing invited me camping earlier this month. We were cuddling, and I noted how nice the showers are in the bathroom at the provincial park. I said they're really warm and lots of space for 2 people, trying to hint for him to join me for sexy time. This man without missing a beat says actually, you could fit like 10 people in those showers. We laughed about it really hard the next weekend, and he said I knew what you were getting at, but my brain just wanted to answer it logically. Literally said I want to be yours, and the dude just keeps smiling and goes on about random space facts. That one hurt a bit. Guy here. A girl took my hat off, started running her fingers through my hair, and asked what did I do to get it so smooth. I proceeded to tell her all about the new shampoo I had switched to a month before, until she cut me off. When I was like 15 to 16, this girl from school I had a huge crush on kept inviting me to her house when she was alone, wearing the smallest tops and asking for back massages. I never got the hint. Years later, when I started going out with my now fiancé, the girl's sister tells my GFA, my sister had such a crush on him back in school. I was not a bright teenager. A girl came to my house once and spent the night. Around the time for bed, she told me she doesn't sleep with a top on or panties. I told her that's okay, I'll sleep on the couch so she can be comfy. She called me from downstairs later that night and told me she couldn't sleep and she was cold. I figured, well, obviously you're naked. So I gave her another blanket and went back downstairs. I'm sure if Emily, from 15 years ago, saw this thread, she'd say, invited this guy to my place after our date. Got him into my room, into my bed. He was just lying there, so I told him my back was feeling sore and asked him if he could give me a massage. His reply, "Oh, I don't want to crush you with my weight." He was about 170 pounds. Gave up and went to sleep. Truth is, I did get the hint. But the time I was a virgin, and I was convinced I had an STD. Yeah, good combo. Turns out I didn't have an STD. Not a girl, but I was staying a night at a hotel, and the hotel bar had just closed. I went out front for a smoke, and started chatting with 2 women. We shoot the asterisk for a few minutes, and then all head back into the hotel, and to the elevator. We get in, they press 15, I press 9, and one of them turns to me and says, "I don't suppose there's a secret bar on the 9th floor we can go to?" My dumbass respos, "No, but you can grab a cab and be at a bar in 10 minutes. The doors open and I leave. Invited him over to watch a movie, eventually laying my legs across his lap and hard flirting, but after 4 movies I had to finally make the move. Edit for clarification, we'd been flirting via text, sexting, exchanging nudes, etc. I had previously told him to his face that I liked him, and I'm giving him the green light to make any move. Still nothing after a month of dating. I seemed to always take the lead on things and I like assertiveness, but I wanted to give him the opportunity to feel like he could be in control, that it was okay. I was very direct many times. We'd had several discussions about it. Still nothing. Even after I finally made the move I had to literally say, "I wanna have to sex with you." I'm not as brutally upfront as some of these people, but mine happened yesterday. "How do I know a girl is flirting with me?" he asks. "She touches you a lot while you two are talking." I cannot relate at all. That never happens to me. I sure it does. I tell him and hit his arm. I can't think of any time that's ever happened. Straight up told him I like him. I think his response was something like, "But I'm kinda trash," or something self-deprecating. He's friends with my best friend, and she confirmed that his depression is so bad that it takes a lot before he actually accepts any sort of positive attention. I think to some degree it's mutual. Hard to tell, as I too am oblivious when guys drop hints. I asked a guy on a festival to come take a shower with me. He didn't get it. Just repeated there was only one free shower, and I was like, "Well, they are big, I'm sure it's fine," and he just looked confused and told me I could go first. We became close friends since that happened about 2 years ago, and this summer I spoke to him about it, and he really had no idea. He did the biggest facepalm I've ever seen. We were playing Don't Drink and Drive on Mario Kart. Just the two of us. I was trashing him, so I gave him a chance by lying sideways across his lap for the entire race. He didn't take the hint. We started dating 2 weeks after that. One time a girl straight up asked if I wanted to take my pants off, and I didn't get it. I was like, "Nah, they're actually not uncomfortable at all." I used to be oblivious, probably still am. There was a girl at a local grocery store who was flirting with me, but of course, I didn't get it. After quite a bit of this, I leave town for a few months and we're corresponding via email. I can't remember why, but I was asking her a string of silly questions, like, "Why is the sky blue? Chicken or the egg first? Where do babies come from?" etc. She answered them all, saving "where do babies come from" for last, and answered it with, "When you get back I'm going to show you." I got that one. Asking him to take picture with me, hugged him a couple of times, told him he has nice hair, started smelling him, and told him he smells nice. I even looked in his eyes for like 2 minutes. Turned out he was Gail Mayo. My fiance thinks leaving my bedroom door open when she spent the night when we were just friends and she lived out of town, and there was absolutely no reason for me to think anything romantic was going on, was obvious. I got up and closed the door because the act was on and was low-key miffed. We were friends for a long time before we got together, and she had a meeting early in the morning, so I gave her my bed and slept on the couch. She left the door open thinking I would take the hint. I'm a guy, but I can share my density as a guy that missed the hints. I went to a store where there was a girl I liked in college. We used to small talk while I browsed and never bought anything. Bring a poor college student. This time I came in the store and she said hi and we chatted a bit while I shopped. She complained, "I'm going to be home alone tonight. My family is out of town." I replied, "Oh, that's too bad." She says, "I'm off at 5 today." It was 4 at the time. "What are you up tonight?" "I'm up for anything." "Oh, nothing. just sitting at home and watching a movie. My brain must have completely self-destructed because the conversation ended there. I never saw her again after that. She either quit or was avoiding me. I must have been in a daze from school to miss that cue. This was some years ago. I was 22, had been talking to this guy for a while. I was ready to lose my virginity. I was a college student living at home, but my mom and stepdad were on vacation celebrating their anniversary, and I figured this would be the perfect time to make my move. He and I already had a date scheduled, so before we went, I cleaned my room and the entire house from top to bottom, created a chill playlist on my computer to listen to, shaved/waxed every necessary inch of my body from the forehead down, put on sexy underwear, and waited for him to pick me up. We went out to the movies, and then he dropped me off at home. I invited him in, with the added context, and in a leading, flirty tone of voice, that we would be all alone, and had all the time in the world, to do whatever he wanted. He said, "That's alright, I'm sure you want to enjoy this time you get without your parents to be alone." He was sure, and he was wrong. I just stared at him for like 10 solid seconds in silence before I nodded, said yeah that's true, and got out of the car. The walk from my driveway to the front door was the real walk of shame, and I hadn't even gotten any good sex out of it. After that, I sat in my very clean house in my sexy underwear, eating pizza and wondering how that could have gone differently. It was my first time trying to seduce a guy into sex, and it failed miserably. I laughed about it though, and I still laugh about it now. I just figured it wasn't in the cards for me yet. Ended up losing my virginity a few more years later to the guy I'm currently engaged to, so it worked out wonderfully. He's pretty good at picking up what I'm throwing down. Lol. I threw my panties at him, and he kept explaining God of War lore. On our first date, my current boyfriend and I went out to dinner, to a bar, and eventually back to his house to watch scary movies. After hanging out for almost 8 hours at that point, practically cuddling into him the entire time we were watching movies, dropping as many hints as I could, around 3 AM, when we were both fighting to stay awake, I finally had to look his dumbass in the eye and ask, "So are you going to kiss me or not?" Though he was totally oblivious, it did show his good heart. He was about to let me fall asleep on his couch, and spend the night without even trying to kiss me. I knew he was a keeper after that. I freaking made out with him, but apparently because I didn't sleep with him on the first date he thought I wasn't interested. I'm a guy, but one time I was hanging with a longtime friend of mine who I used to have a crush on, and who knew that I had a crush on her and had rejected me numerous times over 7 to 8 years in her dorm. We decided that we were both tired, but our other bed was occupied by our other friend, so I was gonna lay down on the floor. She was like, "There's room in my bed for you anytime." So I hop in bed with her thinking nothing of it. The next few minutes were kind of a blur, but eventually we were literally hugging with her leg wrapped around me, and she looked me in the eyes, bit her lip, and said that she was horny. I never made a move beyond that, since she had spent the past almost decade of my life rejecting my advances. Guy here and been told this by colleagues. Had a date with a girl I kissed at a festival. I got her number after that first kiss and asked if she'd be down to meet in less drunk circumstances. She was. We met, we talked, and I walked her home. She asked me if she could hug me and if I wanted to sleep over. I told her I had a 40-minute drive back home. Now I saw this as an act of politeness. My female co-workers claimed it was definitely more. I still don't know though. He invited me to his house to watch a movie after a few dates. He ended up playing League of Legends for hours while I was laying in his bed and asked him many times if he would like to join. Sorry, just one more match. We dated for 2 years. After chatting for hours on top of a mountain from sunset until like 2 AM, sharing a blanket, leaning my head on his shoulder, telling him he's attractive, he turns to me and says back, quote, "How do you tell if a girl is into you?" I'm a guy, but I once had an experience where I took the hint, but still got rejected. A girl had asked me if I lost my virginity yet. We were in high school. When I said I hadn't, she said that I could practice on her whenever I want. Mind you, we walking home after school because we lived close. I try to act on this hint when we get to her house, and she said she was only joking and doesn't want it to be weird with us as friends. I'm a guy, but I have a story. A couple of years ago, a cute girl at the cash register in a local supermarket, where I was a regular customer at every night, said to me in a clearly flirty way, the big smile, "OHHI, though you're not coming today, I'm so happy to see you." Her face was shining when she said this, but the dumbass I didn't realize this, and my response was, "But why?" As I said this, her face went red, and I could hear the glass shatter sound echoing in her. I have other stories too, because usually I get the hints 5 years after they happened. As a guy, to any girls reading this, you have no idea how easy it is to miss hints. Please be more obvious. We are also really bad at being scared of taking signals wrong. For Valentine's a couple of years ago, I mailed my husband a package. The note said, and I quote, "I want you now." I was ready to spring into some extra fun sexy time whenever he opened the package. I had to sit him down and explain a couple of hours later. He was like, when my boyfriend and I had just started dating, we were laying down watching a movie, but this was a small bed, and he was being respectful and giving me space. I kept wiggling backwards so I could get closer to him, and he kept inching backwards too, so he thought I was just trying to get comfortable, and he was in the way. He ended up sitting in a chair next to the bed. 3 years later we are still together, and I still think it's pretty funny. He told me that when he was in the chair he purposefully left his hand next to me in case I wanted to hold it. I guess I missed that sign too. He didn't get out of the bed because he was uncomfortable. He truly thought he was taking up too much space and didn't realize I was trying to cuddle. He told me my hair looked nice. I said, "Bet it would look nicer with your hands in it." He said, in a very confused tone, "You want me to style your hair?" So answering in lieu of my late wife here, husband, am dumb. Like, really dumb. She and I met and became friends very quickly, but I didn't know she apparently had a huge crush on me. I thought she was out of my league, and apparently she thought I was out of her league too, but she couldn't stop the feels. She rubbed her feet on me while we were talking, asked me in detail about my package, gave me her phone number with the line, "Hit me up if you want pizza and sex." We went out for lunch. She offered to fill at me for a Dr. Pepper, and she was *very* insistent that we got meat lovers pizza when I asked her what she wanted for watching a movie later. After we watched the movie, she was in my bed. I figured she was just wanting to keep warm and cuddle, but she strutted into my bathroom stark naked, and I had some DD staring at me. She kissed me and told me, "I want you to me, you idiot." A regular romance story there. In my defense, she had a really warped sense of humor, and I thought she was kidding with all that stuff. It felt so natural with us being friends that the thought didn't even cross my mind until she propositioned me that there was potential for more. I'd had some really up exes, and I thought romance was something where I had to jump through hoops for the other person and wait on them hand on foot, but she was different. That's why she was the one who I got on one knee for. Advice to the ladies out there: if my wife telling me "I want you to me" got through my legendarily thick skull, I think as a last resort that'll get through to *anybody*. We matched on Bumble, dating app that the girl has to talk first, and I started a convo with him. He thought I just matched him because we were friends. No, it's a dating app. We didn't start dating until almost a year after that. We are married now. Before my boyfriend asked me out, he kept hinting at the fact that we were both single, and though we would be cute together, I was like, haha, you're not realizing he was trying to ask me out. We were playing life, and he was a police officer. The rulies: if you spin a 10, he gets your speeding fines. I literally pulled open my button down and exposed my breasts and said, what can I do to get out of paying this? He said, I'm an officer of the law. Are you trying to prostitute yourself to me? A couple days of flirting and sexual innuendo later, I literally had to spell out that I was trying to **** him. We've been together 6 years now. Jesus Christ, how many of my exes are **** in here commenting on this? When I was about 35, I lived in a beach town near a university. My neighbors were all college kids. Next door was 2 college girls. One was always flirting with me. One summer day, she turned up at my door in nothing but a long t-shirt. She asked if she could hang out in the A/C. Said sure, and she came over to the sofa I was sitting long ways on, and laid with her back to my chest, and asked if we could snuggle. I was okay with that. She then asked me to rub her belly, which I did. As you can imagine, after about an hour, I was getting a little worked up and touched her breast while rubbing her belly. She jumped up and stormed out. I was like, WTF. She later said she didn't see me like that. Asked her why she'd show up almost naked, lay between my legs like couples do, and ask me to rub her belly and then get pissed when I try to progress things. She looks at me like a big brother. I was like, WTF is your family like? I had a girl go out with me after work once for dinner, have some drinks, go back to my house, get too drunk to drive home, so I put her to bed in the spare room and never even attempted to kiss her. She left in the morning early and hated me after that. It was after work, so she followed me back to my house in her own car. That's the obvious hint I missed, is what I assume now. I'm the guy in this situation, but I couldn't help not sharing this story. In college, this girl I was really into asked if I wanted to hang out at my dorm and drink and watch Netflix. She came over, and we were watching and drinking on the couch in the living room, per my suggestion. Things are going good, and about an hour into it she says, ooh, let me see your room, so we go to my room. She takes her shoes and socks off and immediately sprawls herself out on my bed, and says, oh my god, your bed is so comfortable. I responded with, we live in the same building, it's the same bed as yours. She left about 10 minutes later. Usually guys don't simply miss the hint, they are often too nervous and either let it slip by their subconscious, or notice it, and don't know what to do with it, so let it go. You really have to be direct if you want a response. A couple of weeks ago to my boyfriend of 3 years. Me, undresses and lays naked on the couch, waiting to bone. Him, makes dumb joke, "Ooh, you're naked. That's so weird." Me, dies a little bit inside. Edit, thanks for my first award guys. Glad some people thought this was funny. Even though I'm a guy, I have a good story about it. When I was younger, there was a girl that we were super close, BF for ages at this point. One day she was a little off, so asked her what we are going on. Her response was something like, I have something that I need to tell you, but I'm afraid what you will think about me after telling you this, and I love so much our friendship that I can't see a future without you. I really love you and don't want to ever lose you. I just translated the most important parts of the text. I still have that screenshot. My response was, oh, I really love you too. Can't see my future without you, and we are going to be BFF. At that time, really wanted to date her, but still didn't got it what she meant. Took me 2 days to start understanding what was happening, and 3 of her friends screaming at me that she wanted to date me. Guy here. Was invited back to study by one of the girls in my class at her apartment. We're about half hours in, and she says she might take a shower. I'm like, okay, kinda random, but okay. Anyway, she starts telling me the door to the shower is broken, so don't come in. Says it 3 or 4 more times. Again, I'm like, okay, weird, she said that multiple times, but okay. Hours later the shower is still running. I can hear her singing and humming away, so I know she's okay and hasn't drowned. Thinking, gee, that's a long shower though. Water goes off, and she comes out dressed, and says you didn't come in? I'm confused as I'm like WTF, she told me not to. She sits back down, clearly distracted and not wanting to study. We wrap up after 5 minutes. Drive home. It asks me how study was about a week later and the situation, which I hadn't given a single brain cell of thought to since. I explained to him. As I'm saying it out loud, the penny drops as to what a big fuckhead I am. Before we started dating, I told my current boyfriend I love you, and he said, or I love you too, you're such a good friend. The whole time we thought we were both friend zoning each other. Wasted half a year going in circles SMH. Asterisk, pulls out notapad while hyperventilating intensifies. Asterisk. I'm a guy here, but I know Amanda would say. I literally jumped on him and tried to kiss him, but he just laughed awkwardly, dodging my kisses and telling me stop being so fucking silly. Realized it like a day later, but she'd moved to another state. That was the last time I ever saw her. This guy I was dating decided to read to me a letter his father wrote to him that had advice on dating. My date was an excellent gentleman with a whole lot of things going for him. Unfortunately, hygiene wasn't one of them. Anyway, he came to a part of the letter where his father had listed different reasons why it is so important to have good hygiene. I piped up then with a, "Oh yes. I love that piece of advice. That is really smart." He never took the hint. When I later broke up with him, I never told him, but hygiene was one of the reasons. I really hope he's doing okay out there and either figured it out or found someone with a stronger stomach. This thread is making me sad because I realize, while I was worried I've missed hints, that I actually haven't missed any in like 5 years because I'm forever alone, lol.